Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I've decided to name this channel Bramble Ramble because I'm going to be just rambling on. I've tried to open a YouTube for so long. I've thought about it, I've dilly-dallied, and now I'm here. So my take on this YouTube is just to basically spread some positivity. I was going to do other stuff about my career, my tattooing career. I was going to do stuff about my fitness journey because I'm 52 years old and people are like, oh, you look good for your age. So I was going to share how I look like this, but I think it's mainly genetics really. But I'm not going to go down that road because I think there's so many people talking about these things that, yeah, I don't want to be one of those run-of-the-mill YouTube channels. So I'm just going to try and keep it as organic as possible. So my question for today is, have you ever felt like inadequate, feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt, fear of exposure, these kind of things, overworking or over prepping at work, constantly striving to improve yourself or prove yourself to people and to your colleagues and to the world at large, difficulty accepting compliments. Yeah, that is a thing. When someone says, oh, you look nice today, you're like, oh no, you attribute it to other factors, whether it's summer or it's the clothes you're wearing or whatever, and these things are kind of like negative aspects of the mind, constantly comparing yourself to others. I always say to my kids, don't compare because you'll always find someone better off or worse off than you. So what's the point of comparing? Comparison is the mother of all, disappointment really. So don't bother with that, Try and stay on a positive mindset and stay on the straight and narrow path. This, my friend, is called imposter syndrome. Yep. And it happens to a lot of people. A lot of people live with this. A lot of people try to, ignore it, but it tends to spread in the mind like a cancer because that's what the mind is like. You try to stop thinking about monkeys, you're going to end up thinking about monkeys, and yeah, that's just how the power of the mind and how the mind works. It rules us really to a certain degree. So from my perspective, what I'd like to share is, in my experience, is how to not eradicate, but to reduce the imposter syndrome feeling. I'm a tattooist, as I've said before, and I work in a very white dominated field. So sometimes I'm constantly asking myself, do I belong here, or am I good enough? Mind you, I've been doing this for over 20 years, so, and I consider myself okay. I'm fairly okay. You can check out my Instagram under the name Jason Spencer and see my work, and you'd see that I'm okay. I'm not bad. I'm not the best, but I'm not bad. I can improve, and I acknowledge these things at the end of every piece, at the end of every session. My clients more often than not leave happy, so that makes me feel good within myself. So what I'd like you to do to kind of like reduce the feeling of imposter syndrome is to recognize the feelings when they do arise, because that's the first thing you need to do with anything in life, is to recognize that it exists. Once you recognize that it exists, then you can tackle it. And by tackling it, I mean you can try and reframe how you think, reframe how you see yourself, and reframe how you think about life, and and how you see the outcome of things. So understand you are not wrong. Understand that there are other people that think the same way that you do. Trust me, there are loads of people in the world that think the same way and do the same things. That's when you realize, and you live for a while, you realize that majority of people on this planet have the same problems, whether they're rich or poor, black or white or wherever you're from. It's the same problems, the same insecurities. It's quite funny and ironic actually. So what I'd like you to do is celebrate success. So my name of my channel is Ramble Bramble, or Bramble Ramble. And we're going to go with the Bramble Ramble because I'm going to be trying to film in my garden. Yeah. And the point, I'm kind of gotten off the beaten track here, so what I'm going to get back to it was like, celebrate your success. You've got to learn to celebrate your success. I've learned to do it, because the only way you can do that is by acknowledging your failures as well. Look behind you and then you'll see how far you've come, whether it's your career, your marriage, your friendships, or whatever. If you look behind you, and by looking behind you, I mean your past, look at the road you've traveled, how far you've come, and where you are today, you'd see that you've grown, you would have grown. You know, you're not gonna stay still. It's not for humans to stay still. Some people do, but that's maybe their choice in life. But as a career or a relationship, it should progress, you know, and you need to acknowledge that. Keep a record of your accomplishments, you know, and celebrate them, you know, and keep looking at them. And then you'd realize, as I say, once you look at the list of things you've done and accomplished, you'd realize, I'm doing okay, you know. Allow yourself to feel proud, man, and focus on progress. That's what you need to do. You have to develop a really realistic mindset, because everything starts in the mind. Everything that exists on this planet starts in the mind. The chair I'm sitting on, you know, the fence that's around my garden, all started in someone's mind, and it was brought into fruition. You know, I don't want to start giving a TED talk on positive thinking and materializing your thoughts and all this kind of stuff, because we already know that we live in a very, very spiritual world where people have access to this kind of talk, and everyone tends to know that, yeah, once you can visualize it, you know, once you can dream it, you can visualize it, and it can become a reality. So yeah, that's the mindset we need to have, you know. Learn that everyone makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. There's no one on this planet that doesn't make mistakes, you know, and try and stay away from perfectionism. It does not exist. No one's perfect. You're not going to get the perfect outcome. You're not going to bake the perfect cake. I'm not going to do the perfect tattoo. I'm not going to do a perfect tattoo. As much as I like to think it is perfect, it's not perfect. So you have to acknowledge that as well, you know, and always focus on your growth, on your own growth, not someone else's. We live in a world now where we can see other people's lives, and there's Instagram and there's X and Facebook, and we are constantly bombarded with other people's successes or other people's, you know, progressions in life, and it can be a bit daunting sometimes, especially if someone's doing the same thing or you have the same ambition as someone you can see, and you may feel like, I will never get to that level. I'm never gonna achieve that success, and that thinking in itself is not a good way to think. That's from the offset. You need to get rid of that one, you know, and you need to think to yourself, I can do that. If he can do that, I can do that. As long as you've got all your faculties, you've got four limbs, sorry. You've got four limbs, and you've got your heart in working order, your brain's in working order, you've got your faculties, you can see, smell, touch, taste, and hear, then you have the ability to succeed in whatever road or path you choose in life. You know, that's a simple and as easy way to put it is, as long as you've got your faculties, you can do anything with yourself. You know, even if you want to change your careers at 50, you can do that. You know, we live in a world now where you can make money doing, or you can do anything really. You can make money doing, writing a book. So many people have quit their jobs and started tattooing or doing things, you know, that weren't expected of them, you know, teaching skateboarding or whatever. Happiness has to be paramount in life, and living a life where you can be as simple as possible and strip things back. Don't make things too complicated, you know, because we're very, 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 very guilty of doing stuff like that, where we sugarcoat things and we add frills, and just do things as simple as possible, and you'll find things will be as simple as possible. When things are simple, then they are very easy to see, you know, spread, you know, just all round positivity. And that's what I was trying to spread from my channel for everyone, is a bit of organic positivity. So please like and subscribe. I'm going to try and post daily. I kind of rambled today, you know. My main ambition today was just to try and kick off the channel with some kind of positive way of thinking. And as I said, the mind for me is where everything starts and where everything ends. You know, a happy mind is a happy body, is a happy life, is what I say. So please like and subscribe. My name's Jason. It's the 23rd of June and it is 7 o'clock. And if you've watched this video in its entirety, I'd just like to say thank you. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you on the other side for video number 2. Thank you very much. Cheers.